President. Thank you. I was struck by the expressions of concern about the situation in Sri Lanka by our friends, mainly from the EU, which doubtless will be followed by others. It is not the view of Sri Lanka that Sri Lankan matters are exclusively for Sri Lankans alone. There is a common humanity which transcends even those vital notions of popular and national sovereignty. So we do not rule out of court any and all expressions of concern about our situation. However, Mr. President, I must strike several cautionary notes. Human rights, Mr. President, is and must not be regarded as a new version of the white man's burden. There is far too much naming and shaming going on, and it's flowing only in one direction, north to south, west to east. A handful of rich and powerful towards the rest of the impoverished. Now that is not in keeping with the spirit of universality and the Human Rights Council. We do not think that any group of countries or any country in particular has some special sensitivity, some special cultivated sensibility concerning human rights, some historic vocation, a civilizing mission to defend human rights in our parts of the world. When I listen to my critics, Mr. President, neither my understanding of history, modern history, nor current history leads me to share any view of moral asymmetry between Sri Lanka and those critics. We in Sri Lanka are trying to reunify our little island nation. The Sri Lankan government cares no less for its citizens than those well-intentioned critics do. We all live together on a little island, Mr. President. It's a densely populated island, and we do have to care for each other. Sri Lanka being a practicing democracy, our citizens are also, and have always been, enfranchised. These are also voters. Our government cares for its people as citizens, as individuals, and as voters. It would be stretching the imagination to think that others could care for us more than we care for ourselves. We, Mr. President, did not spawn fascism on our soil. We did not have concentration camps on our soil. We did not set out to conquer the world. We are only trying to defend and reunify our country. I heard a criticism of the Sri Lankan government's position and an endorsement of the critique of the IIGEP. It's a novel experiment, Mr. President. In the middle of a conflict, we have invited international observers to help our Commission of Inquiry and to act as observers with an oversight capacity. There are doubtless asymmetries and misunderstandings. But we would also, in the same spirit of our critics, ask whether an international commission of inquiry has been appointed to find out what happened that night in Stamheim prison when Andreas Baader and Ulrike Meinhof and many others were found hanging in their cells. We, Mr. President, do not believe in neutrality. We did not adopt a posture of neutrality between fascism and democracy in order to build up our prosperity. We do not need lectures from those who did. We shall discuss with High Commissioner Louise Arbour, when she visits Sri Lanka, about how national institutions can be strengthened with the cooperation of the High Commission. Whether or not to establish a field presence is a matter for Sri Lanka. The office of the High Commissioner, Mr. President, cannot be the new equivalent of an East India company. That Sri Lanka shall not subscribe to. Thank you.